name is Gina, and I'm definitely a grateful recovering addict and alcoholic.
Hi, Gina.
Thank you. My clean date's September 26th, 2018. Having Slash introduce Madonna to talk about drugs, alcohol, death, and recovery is totally bitchin'.
Right?
Yeah. It's so hard whenever I speak to decide where to begin. I've been doing a lot of public speaking in the last few months. Even though it's painful for me, it's also cathartic. And I feel a powerful purpose now to connect and reach as many people as possible so that perhaps some families and people will not have to suffer the way my family and I did through addiction and ultimately death.
Come on, girl.
I know. I'm going to tell you 5 things about Gina Gomez before she entered MFI on September 27, 2018. Number 1, she loves her children, granddaughter, and family more than anything in the world, and she would say that she would do anything for them, except that she could not stop drinking and using even though it was hurting them, even when she swore she would. 2, she always said she would never ever survive the death of one of her children. She would have told you that she definitely wouldn't have done it clean and sober. 3, after she found her son dead, she was in agony and she wanted to die. She really wanted to die. 4, she considered herself a selfless person who put everyone ahead of herself and gave freely of her time and attention. 5, that her addiction and her son's overdose death devastated her and broke her heart. Now I'm going to tell you 5 things about Gina Gomez today. 1, she loves her children, granddaughter, and family more than anything in the world, but she's now put action behind her words and demonstrated her willingness to stop using and drinking because she was hurting their mother, which hurt them, and in doing so, she began the process of healing. 2, so far, although painful, devastating, and heartbreaking, she has survived the death of her child. And so far, though at times challenging, she's done it clean and sober. 3, she now cherishes every moment of every day and lives each day to its fullest and emotionally swims in a constant state of gratitude, hope, and mindfulness, because it would be arrogant not to do so when so many other people don't have the luxury of being alive. Sorry, I'm really nervous.
You're doing awesome.
4, she now behaves in a manner that's consistent with someone who is not selfish and is present and generous with her time and attention. She practices reciprocity now. 5, that the depths of her addiction and her son's death to an overdose, while devastating and heartbreaking, made her a better person. This is a painful, powerful truth, but it's her truth. On March 23rd, 1993, I was 26 years old. I was married, and I was ecstatic at the hospital holding my newborn baby boy, Austin Christopher. Austin smiled minutes after he was born. He was a happy baby. If you had told me on that day that 25 years later, addiction would have crept slowly and silently into my life and sent me into a spiral that I could not stop on my own for years, only to watch it grow strength, and that I would one day walk into my boy's apartment and find him dead of an overdose at 25, I would have looked you in the eye and told you that you were crazy. No way. Not me. Not this baby. Not my family. During my struggle through the years with addiction, I refused to believe that I could not control this myself. After all, I'm Gina. I can do this. I can do anything I put my mind to, don't you know? I have things in my childhood and life that made it too easy to blame others for my addiction. But the truth is, in the beginning, I did what we all do. I chose the behavior for whatever reason, until the addiction chose for me, and then it was too late. I hated myself. I had veered so far away from my soul, I was unrecognizable to myself. I was ashamed and terrified and broken every single day. I said goodbye to my baby after giving his eulogy on September 19th and at Raincross on September 27th. I knew that if I delayed going, I would be dead soon. And my beautiful other 3 children and family would have to find me and bury me that way. the way I had Austin. I couldn't do that to them. They had been through too much. I recently realized how powerful and magical my higher power is. Before I even knew it, before I had even surrendered. You see, I was supposed to go to Whiteside. I had just had my foot fused and I was scheduled there, but I realized they had stairs and I couldn't walk at the time. So my insurance told me the only place that I could go for a woman that didn't have stairs was Raincross. That was my God loving and protecting me. And I'm going to tell you another thing. That happened before I found Austin. That had been decided in August. My God loved me and protected me. And he put me in the arms of some of the most remarkable women I've ever met in my life. I stayed in the loving arms and care of my Elizabeth, Jenna, Mariana, Michelle, Amber, Darlene, Bree, Bethy, Harmony, and Renee at Raincross, and Lou and Bill and everybody here at IOP. I was in residential treatment for over 3 months, and then I did 3.5 months of IOP afterwards. MFI gave me knowledge, strength, coping skills, and it loved me and helped me grieve. They taught me how to live again, and they taught me how to be okay with being vulnerable, letting my armor down, trusting people, and sharing my experience, strength, and hope with others. They helped me in the fight of my life. It was the fight for my life. I fell in love with myself again so that I could be the mother, grandmother, daughter, sister, cousin, niece, and friend that God intended me to be. I learned to be hopeful and grateful again. I tell people that there's a reason boxing matches have multiple rounds. Sometimes you have to fight more than one round to get the upper hand in a battle. Addiction had me on the ropes for a long time, but recovery taught me to find my strength and courage and get myself back on my feet before the final bell rang. I often say that I don't know why my life was spared and my son's was not. God knows that even today I would trade it if I could, but I do trust in my God that this is the way that it had to be, and that there's some greater purpose which is going to reveal itself to me. Lou always tells us, no matter what, we don't pick up. No matter what happened to me, and it's brutal and heartbreaking and soul-crushing, but so far I've not picked up. I begin each day before I get out of bed, and I look at pictures of my son that hang next to my bed. I pray, I talk to him, I count my blessings, I pray for others, I pray for all of you, and I ask for the strength and the courage to get through one more day clean and sober, just one more time. I also learned from my mentor, my Elizabeth, to do a quick 3 steps. I can't, he can, I think I'll let him. So I surrender myself all over again each morning before my feet even touch the ground. Liz, you changed my life. You held me when I was broken, and you helped me find the strength to put myself back together. You made me laugh when I never thought that I would or even deserved to again. And I love you with all my heart, and I can never thank you enough. I never would have survived this without these women, counselors at Raincross, Lou, Bill, and countless others through MFI. I began this talking about Austin, and I'm going to end it talking about Austin. Austin's a mommy's boy. He's always been a mommy's boy. He was always my biggest fan, cheerleader, and my greatest protector. The few times after my divorce that I had a guy come pick me up or come watch TV, Austin would park himself in the living room with us, mad dog him until he finally scared him away. He would even fight with his dad if he tried to fight with me. He's always been my biggest protector. Austin loved to make mommy laugh. He would call me up in these crazy accents and voices. My favorite one was his Asian voice. Sorry, Mike.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
The harder that I laughed, the funnier he got. I really miss those calls. We used to hang out at his apartment once or twice a week and watch stand-up comedies or documentaries. He always had stuff, and he would say, "Mom, we have to watch this together. Hurry up." And I would cook for him. My kids are all on my Netflix account, and we have our own folders, so sometimes I go onto his still, and I watch things that he watched, and it makes me feel happy. We shared so much in the 9,301 days on earth that I had with him. It was 9,301 days that I was blessed, and I did the math, and I hate doing math. But I know he's with me every day. I know he wouldn't want me dwelling on his death. He would want me to celebrate and rejoice his life. And I know he's so proud of me right now. And I know that he would have really loved all of you guys. I know he cheers me on, and he gives me strength when I feel I can't go on. So now I live a balanced, purposeful, healthy life. I do it for myself. I do it for my children and family. I do it for Austin's memory and others along the way who may need some inspiration and hope. I'm being of service and I'm giving back. My family has their Gina back, only in my opinion, a much better version. My dear friend and brother here, Daryl Jeter, told me a few times that my story and how hard he sees me work have given him another day on occasion. I've heard that a few times from some people, and it makes me feel good when I hear it because it gives me another day, and that's how our program works. It eases my heartbreak a little bit every time I hear that. That's how our program works. We get strength from one another. It's like kinetic energy. We spread energy to one another, and it's such a beautiful thing. We all possess energy, so it's up to us to choose each day whether we want to use it in a negative or a positive way. I choose to use it in a positive way. A young man came up to me 2 weeks ago after a meeting, and he told me that he had been at a meeting where I shared the prior week. He was around Austin's age, and he was in a treatment center. He told me that he planned to leave the place the next day, that he had a friend lined up to pick him up and bring him drugs, and he was out. He said after I shared that he went back to the center and to his room and he cried. He said that I reminded him of his mom, and mine and Austin's relationship reminded him of him and his mother, and that the pain and the tears in my eyes when I shared had made him realize a few things. He said he called his mother and he talked to her about all of this, and then he told his counselor he wanted to stay as long as possible. That was my higher power using Austin to speak through me. It's the miracle of our program, and it's what should keep us all going. In closing, recovery, fellowship, helping others, alumni, and staying connected are all the things I do daily now. I feel passionately about my children, granddaughter, family, and I want to be the best I can for them. And I feel passionately about recovery. I feel passionately about my spiritual journey, and I feel passionately about my family at MFI. My higher power, meetings, sponsor, steps, and living my life under the spiritual principles is the core and foundation to my life now. I'm forever grateful for my God, MFI, NA, AA, my friends, and most importantly, my children and family for loving and supporting me when I didn't love myself. If I leave you all with nothing else today, please let me leave you with this. Time is our most precious and valuable commodity. Time is free, but it's also priceless. So use yours wisely because tomorrow's not promised. I love you all, and I feel so blessed that God put you all in my path. Thank you for letting me share a little bit of my story and for being part of my recovery.
Let's get it for Gina one more time. Come on. And that